Let me ask you something. When you picture the perfect dog, what pops into your head? A goofy golden retriever, a cute little French bulldog? Yeah, we tend to fixate on the superstars, the big names of the dog world. But what if I told you there are these hidden gems out there, breeds with absolutely incredible histories, one-of-a-kind personalities, who are, believe it or not, quietly on the verge of disappearing? Well, today, we're going undercover to meet the underdogs. Okay, just look at this for a second. On one side, you've got the French Bulldog. You see them everywhere, right? They're one of the most popular dogs on the entire planet. And on the other side, you have the incredible Otterhound, a breed so rare that sometimes fewer than 50 puppies are registered in a whole year. This isn't just a small difference, folks. It's a massive chasm. So what in the world is going on here? And that leads us to the real mystery we're digging into today. This isn't about which dog is better or cuter. No, this is a story about history, about our changing lifestyles, and about how the modern world has completely reshaped the dog kingdom. So let's start piecing together the clues. Now, before we go any further, we need to get one thing crystal clear. When we use a term like least popular, we are talking strictly about numbers. That's it. It's a term based on annual registration data from kennel clubs. It simply means these dogs are rare. They're just not on most people's radar. It is absolutely not a judgment on their health, their temperament, or their value as a companion. So where do we start our investigation? Well, our first clue has everything to do with work. You see, a lot of these rare breeds are basically highly skilled professionals who are, for all intents and purposes, unemployed. They've been left behind by a world that just doesn't need their very specific talents anymore. This creates something the source material calls an adaptation gap. Think about it. These dogs weren't originally bred to be chill family pets that hang out on the sofa. They were bred for a job. And when that job vanished, they were left holding a resume that just doesn't quite fit the modern job market. The dogs didn't become obsolete. Their entire industries did. And I mean, just look at these resumes. The Norwegian Lundehund, it was a master puffin hunter on treacherous cliffs. The Otterhound, well, the name kind of gives it away. It hunted otters. The English Foxhound was bred for the very specific task of pack hunting. These weren't just side gigs. They were specialized careers. So when hunting laws changed and animals became protected, these elite specialists were suddenly out of work. All right, so clue number 1 was all about the world changing around these dogs. But for clue number 2, we're going to shift our focus to the dogs themselves, because the very traits that made them absolute geniuses at their jobs can, you guessed it, make them a bit of a challenge for the average family today. For instance, take the Commodore's wild corded coat. It was amazing protection from predators out in the field. But for a modern owner, it means hours and hours of very specific grooming. Or the Harrier, a dog bred to run for miles all day long. It's just not going to be happy with a quick walk around the block. And that independent streak, which was so crucial for a Sloughy hunting on its own, can come across as plain old stubbornness to an owner who just wants a dog that listens right away. And this really gets to the heart of the mismatch. What do many of us look for today? A dog that's super adaptable, eager to please, friendly with everyone. But these specialists, they were bred to be independent thinkers, high-energy workers, and often reserved and watchful with strangers. It's not about one being better than the other. It's about a fundamental difference in design that doesn't always mesh with our modern lives. Okay, so we have lost jobs and we have challenging traits. But there's one final piece to this puzzle. And honestly, it might be the most powerful one of all. It's a self-perpetuating cycle that keeps these rare dogs, well, incredibly rare. Let's call it the scarcity trap. You see, it's this vicious cycle. Once a breed's numbers drop to a certain point, they just fall off the cultural map. You don't see them in movies, you don't see them on Instagram, and because nobody knows they exist, nobody asks for them. With no demand, the few dedicated breeders trying to preserve the line start to disappear. And that, of course, makes the breed even harder to find, which shrinks its numbers even more. Rarity becomes its own worst enemy. And if you want to see that cycle in real time, get this. According to our source, in the entire United States, there are only 5 active breeders of the Sesky Terrier. 5. That's it. So even if you did all your research and decided this was the perfect dog for you, just finding one would be a massive challenge. You'd need a ton of patience and dedication. So we've looked at the clues, lost jobs, traits that don't quite fit, and this brutal scarcity trap. What's the final verdict? Well, maybe we've been looking at this all wrong. Maybe the word unpopular is the real problem here. Because for the right person, these dogs aren't a compromise at all. They're a total upgrade. They're often healthier because they haven't been subjected to the genetic bottlenecks of popular trends. You get a companion that is truly unique, a living piece of history with an amazing story. And by choosing one, you become a guardian of that story. You're actively helping to save a breed from vanishing forever. And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. These dogs aren't unpopular. They're specialized. They are the artisans, the master craftsmen, the elite athletes of the dog world. And they're just waiting for the right person to come along who truly appreciates their unique genius. This quote from our source material really just nails it. It's an invitation, right? It's asking us to look beyond the usual suspects and explore this incredible world of dogs that most people will sadly never even know exist. So we'll just leave you with this final thought. Popularity comes and goes. It's a trend. But a perfect fit? That's forever. And maybe, just maybe, the best dog in the world for you isn't the one that everybody else has. Maybe it's that rare, specialized, and totally unique underdog that's been waiting for someone exactly like you to find them.